Hello and welcome. Today we're going to start what is going to be a series of tutorials on using Metahuman Character Creator, which was included with Unreal Engine 5.6 and their recent release. Now, I know that there's several videos that are out, tutorials covering this, but I hope that I can show you things that will help you to create better characters. If you want to see an example of some of my work, if you go to fab.com and you look up Broken Arrow Assets, and I'll put that in the description, you can see some of the work I do and that I currently sell on Fab. So to begin with, what you need to do is to make sure that you have the core data for Unreal Engine 5.6 Metahuman Creator, the core data, which is here. If that's checked. If it's not, you have to check it, download it, and get that to begin with. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the actual setup inside the Unreal Engine browser here. Go to Edit, go to Plugins, and then just in the search you can type in Meta, and if you hit H it'll filter down, and these are all the Metahuman plugins that you should have activated. The only one, Metahuman from Maya, I have that because I have Maya and I use Maya quite a bit, so I keep that one. But the other ones here should be checked. So when you do your search, just check them all. Ain't gonna, nothing's it's not gonna break anything. So once you get that done, you can go to the next step, which will be to create just a folder. And I just use the regular Metahuman's name, how it is spelled out with the capital H. Whenever you bring a Metahuman in from their online creator, it creates this folder. So, and this is where I'll start. And what we're going to look at today is the creator itself and the character creator. So what you do is you right click, go to the Metahuman section, go to the Metahuman character, and then you can just name it whatever you want. I usually use MHC underscore, and then whatever name I'm going to have for it, which I'm just going to go test for now. The first thing that I normally do is I give it skin. I'll just hit materials, and once you do that, it'll give it skin. The way the skin ends up in the end will be up to you, but this is just the basic skin. But I don't want to start there. I'm going to start at the top of this side menu here, and the first thing is presets. Okay, and you have all these different characters that you can use as a preset for something that you want to build. That's what they're here for. Don't feel like it's cheating or anything, because it's not. It gives you an idea of what a character can look like, and you can look at all the settings of these characters and you can determine how you would use those settings to build your character. So that's where we're going next, body. And now you're getting into how am I going to create this character. The first thing is called blend, and what that is it takes the bodies of all the characters I just showed you, and it gives you a choice to choose 3 of them. And we'll just throw a couple in here just to have something to look at. Okay, And then what happens is you see these manipulators that appear on the body. And now when you click on one of the manipulators, it shows you this. All this does is allow you to choose between the 3 bodies that you've selected in the blend preset section. So you can mess with it, you can use it to get a unique body and then tweak it yourself. If you put it on one particular, it's going to look like the body of that person, which in this case would be this Isaiah. If I don't do that there, I bring it over to another area, whatever it may be. Okay, is up to how you choose to do it. Like, you can see what that does. So anyway, the next section here is called Conform. And this is an important place because you can import DNA, and DNA is just the files that are created, that you can create with Metahuman Character Creator. Once you get a character, you can come up here and you can save body DNA, or once you get it rigged, you can save the face DNA, and that lets you keep a record of what this character looks like. So you would find one of those files and you would load it into here, and that file would be the basis of, in this case, the body. So you'd be looking for the body DNA. And you have template. And on template, what you're doing is you're going to find a body, well, another body, I should say, whatever it may be, skeletal mesh, let's call it that you want as the body for this character. Now this could be something that you designed in Maya or Blender. There's ways to do that, and we will go over some of that down the line. But it gives you options that are not in the actual character creator, and it allows you to do things like create monsters. Like if you want a monster type body, you design one in Maya, or you design one in Blender, and then you can pull it in here by this method and create that body for your metahuman. So that's the body part there. Now the last part is model, and model is everything, all the little details, the parameters of the body that are allowed to be manipulated on a metahuman. So to begin with, like this is on 0, which is not female or not male. If I wanted a male, I could just go this way, go all the way over here, that's a male. If I want a female, I could just go all the way down here and have a female, and then you make all your adjustments afterwards. Now what you're going to notice there is the height. It changes based on the norms of a male or a female. Now the actual number for 0 for height would be the average person according to their train of thought, and this is in centimeters, okay? And 171.75 centimeters is roughly about 67, almost 68 inches. 5'8", I would say, and that's the average of just an adult, whether it's male or female. Then as you go higher, of course, you got height, tall. It goes up to 220. That's I'd have to figure that out. I'm not going to do that right now. And as low as 135 centimeters, which is roughly 53 inches or so, 4.5 feet. Probably the size of an adolescent going into teenage, years. You can have adolescents that are even taller. But that's as small as it goes. But there is ways to get smaller bodies, and we will talk about that at some point. So that's how you mess with height, and then muscle. You want somebody that's muscle bound, or you don't. You can play with all that. You got your fat. You want a big person, or you want somebody that's about ready to blow away in the wind. That would be up to you. And again, here's your height. Now if you notice over here, you're going to see these little pins, and as you mess with these and you leave them, the pin will activate, is what it will do. And what that does is it keeps these particular things in place. Like if I mess with this fat, and notice that the height isn't affected at all. If I mess with muscle, the height isn't affected at all because it's pinned. Okay, and male and female. Now if you remember when we first did this, when I went to female, the height changed. When I went to male, it went taller. But because we have the height pinned right now, it's not going any. It's staying right at 175, and that is it. So that's you lock in your little parameters here. When you say, okay, I got that right, lock it. That's all. These are your global. They will unlock them all, or they'll lock them all. As you can see how that changed when I did that. It just went back to a normal, whatever it saw as being normal. It changed it all. So when you unlock the global, it's going to change everything here. It may or may not. It just depends on how close you are to what Metahuman Character Creator perceives as a normal, proportionated body. So that's a way to lock in everything. Then you have all your other things. Upper torso, I'm just going to slide along these so you can see what they do. And again, as you go through them, you're going to see them lock into place. This is your breasts, however you want that. Well, it's actually your shoulders, but your breasts are affected by it. Then you got your front. You want to have somebody that looks wide-shouldered. You have your chest. Again, this affects the breast. You have your bust span, which is how far apart or how close together is your breasts. You have under bust. Again, women would probably be more familiar with that term. And then this is your neck, how far your neck is from your chest area, your chest to your neck, and how that works out. And that can affect height, but it also affects the way the character looks. You have to be proportionally right if you're trying to do something as close as possible to human. But if you're not, then you can be proportionally all over the place. So again, waist, just quickly, some of these things that you can do. And you see how some of them change as you change one. Whatever can be is going to be affected by that change will change automatically. Your hip, you can actually come up with some pretty crazy things. Your neck, how big it is, how some guys don't even have a neck. I know some people say I'm like that, where I was when I was younger. Let's see, your neck length, and you can't really see too much there. Let me get a little bit closer. And you can see what that's doing to the neck. Now the reason you're seeing all this stuff is because we're working in this and we have stuff locked. If we didn't have stuff locked, you wouldn't see as much. See how when we unlock everything, you don't see all those indicators. Okay. And again, arms, I don't have to go through these things. You just have to go through them and see. But if all goes worse to worse, you just come back down here and you say, I'm going to reset, and you just reset the body. So right now it's pretty well reset anyway. That takes care of that part. So the next thing is head. Let's just quickly go to head. This is a little bit more complex of an area. The first thing you have is blend. Again, I'm not going to do it, just take 3 of them, or you can take 2. You know, you want at least 2, because doing 1 don't even make sense. But 3 of them, and then make your adjustments to your head. The manipulators here, these are just the sizing of these manipulators that are on the face. And then you got your symmetry, which toggles, you know, whether it has symmetry on the X factor going across. So when you make an adjustment on something over here, which I'll do, well, I don't have anything there, so it's not going to move anything. But once you make an adjustment there, it'll make it on the other side automatically. So that's that part. We'll go to conform, and again, this is like on body. You can import DNA, you can import from a template, or you can import from identity. Now this is the other thing that's involved in the head. You can create an identity for a metahuman based on another character, like a DAZ character or a Maya character that you created, or a Blender character that you created. As long as it's FBX, you can bring it in, and then you run an identity solving on it, which I laid out in another tutorial some time ago on how to do that with DAZ characters. You might want to check that out, and that will show you how to use the identity. So obviously you're going to search for the identity once you have one created, and the same with your DNA. And then templates the same as it is with the body. You just look for a head, you know, like that you want to base this head on. You bring it in, and the conform here will turn green and tell you it's ready to go. Next area is sculpt. This area is probably the one area that you really will use a lot if you want to customize your metahuman. Again, this has symmetric manipulation. Like if I do something here, pull the eyes out, it happens on both sides. Just going to mess around with this a little bit just to show you a few quick little things, how quickly you can get some kind of weird looking monster here, you know. I mean, all you have to do is come up to these things, and you can pull the head up. You can mess with the ears, do whatever you want, make the nose look weird. Let's come in on this guy. We pull the nose out a little bit. Look at this, he's looking pretty rough and mean now. Let's put a growl on him. Let's bring that brow ridge down a little bit more to make him look really mean. And we can even close these eyes up a little bit to kind of give him a scowl look. Maybe he's got big chin and some kind of long chin and whatever it may be. Okay, I mean, that just shows you how quickly you can actually work on something and say, you know what, that's the beginning to a monster that I'm going to create. And you know, there's so much you can do with this. Once you get it down, you will say, wow. And it'll start becoming fun, actually, to see what you can create. What can I create that's so different and outrageous that somebody would look at it and say, you know what, I want that in my next game. Okay, so again, that's what we've created in just a few short minutes here, and then if we don't like it, we can always reset it. And now the next thing would be materials. We already hit that once when we first come in, just to give the character a little bit of skin tone. Just quickly, you have your skin tone manipulator here. You can go from dark skin to extremely light skin and everything in between. You can add a little reddish down in this area, or you can add a little yellowish up in this area, just to keep in mind. Okay, I mean, this tries to emulate all the types of skin that we have in the world that we live in, but we don't know about other worlds. Like, I'd like to have something that would give me green skin or something like that, and there is a way to do it. But let's just go through this. Body textures have to do with the body itself. If you take this top shirt off, okay, we can see that body textures, they only go up to, I think, 9 or 10. So I think 9, I think it is. That's, yeah, I think that's the highest it goes. No, 8, I believe, is the highest it goes. And that's just somebody that has a lot of wrinkly to them. Looks pretty convincing, although I don't know why anybody would, I don't know. I guess you could use it for certain characters. The other thing is the face textures, and those now with those you have a variety. I mean, it goes anywhere from 0, and I believe it goes beyond 100. I can put 100 in there, and I think if I put 101 in there, you're going to see something. Yeah, I don't even know what it goes up to, because I never went as far as it goes. I go through them and I just find a face texture I want to use, and I use it. This part of it, I really like this feature, because what it does is it gives you an opportunity to not make a plain character, but to make a character that may look hard or soft or mean or whatever, and have all the actual, let's see, I think 21 around there. I mean, that's fantastic. You don't have to do all that in a modeling program. You can just add a texture and it's there. It's enough. It's enough for the character, to be, you can't sit there and say, I can see that is just a bump map or a normal map. And then basically it's between that and a few other maps that they use, but mostly it's based around that technology. So there's a lot you could go through here. I mean, I could just kind of scroll through them like this. I mean, look at some of this stuff. Pretty good. That's a good feature. And it helps, because then you have a variety. You can say, oh, I like that. That skin works good with this character. Okay. Then you got, your roughness, how really rough, rugged the character's going to look. I don't really mess with that too much myself. Show top underwear, take it off. That's up to you. And I haven't really played around with texture position. I'm sure that does something. Now, as far as freckles go, there's always a few here and there on the face of some of these, but some of these skins are pretty clean, and if you want a few freckles, then you just click on here, and now you see them as they start to develop, and they're not right there instantly. You have to wait a little bit, and all of a sudden they start showing up. So when you do density or something like that, and you jack that up, you gotta wait a few seconds, and then it'll start looking, you'll see the difference, or strength on how dark or light they are, so on and so forth. So this is another way to actually make a face look far more realistic, because none of our faces are, you know, squeaky clean like a baby. Okay, a baby's face might be squeaky clean, but that's not us. Okay, further down, you just have little face accents like redness and stuff like that that you can jack up. Certain areas of the face, our face always has redness in it, and you know, it's not pure white or dark or whatever. There's always redness in face. It's from your blood, of course. Down here you have your texture overrides for the face and body, and this is how you can use your own textures as long as they conform with the Metahuman UV setup. You can just, like, you can take a skin map and color it whatever color you want, and that's how you can get different skins that are not the human-like colors, but maybe even alien-type colors, or as we perceive alien. Okay, now we can move to eyes, and as you can see, there's quite a variety of eyes. Let's go here. You get your dark brown. You have, let's see, the bluer eyes here. Let me get in a little bit closer on this guy. Okay, and you got your greens, and you got your hazel, and you got this kind of bright brownish eyes, which I think are pretty cool. And the next thing would be makeup, which doesn't only apply to women, it applies to men. There is certain situations, let me say, where men will wear makeup, and it's not uncommon, especially actors. I mean, they do it all the time, but just normal men that just like to highlight their eyes and so on and so forth. And some men that I know have natural makeup on their eyes, where it's just their eyes are dark anyway around them. So you'd have to mess with that. Then you got your blush. Again, that's another makeup thing where you can make your parts of your face look redder. See around there, add that little blush to it. That's why it's called blush. And down below that you got lipstick. Now you can change the color of that, whatever, you know, go to pink or something like that. That's okay. So takes care of that part of it, and they all have adjustments that you can mess with. Opacity, you know, roughness, you know, metalness, I guess is what it is, so on and so forth. There's a lot of adjustments you can make that I will go through as we move along. Then the last thing is the teeth and the eyelashes, which we went through previously. We don't have any eyelashes on this character at the moment, but once we do, these are little adjustments that are available, and the teeth itself. So the next section here is hair and all the other things that go along with hair, which is eyebrows, eyelashes, facial hair, and then this also includes a section for your clothing way down below. So you choose whatever type of hairstyle that you want on the character. I'll just throw a medium mohawk on it just to demonstrate. And sometimes this can take a little time putting the hair on, especially initially, because it's got to compile shaders and stuff like that. And so this will take a few minutes. I just want to, oh, there it is. Okay, let's roll down this way. And we'll just throw some eyebrows on. Let's try those ones. The eyebrows don't take as long. And I'm going to show you how you can adjust those things in another tutorial, color-wise. And we'll throw some eyelashes. We'll give them some long eyelashes. We don't need any kind of mustache, but I'll just show you what it looks like so you understand. And you can actually create these grooms in both Blender and in Maya. They both have fantastic modules that allow you to make your own grooms and import them into Unreal Engine or other various 3D programs. Okay. And then last is your clothing here. We'll just stick it on them. And this could take a second, although it starts out as white, but you can make it any color you want. Again, I will go over that at another time. I'm just trying to show you what the basics look like. So that's the basics of it. I hope you got something out of that. And we will continue with this in the next tutorial. So until then, give me a like or a subscribe, and I will see you soon.